Hello everybody, we're getting ready to do lesson 5.7 part 2 classwork for pre-algebra math 2. So for today's lesson we got 0 points on your notebook, 5.7 part 2, and then 24 points on your classwork sheet, name, date, period, students that I want there. Due date here for my onliners, homeschoolers, make sure you put your due date on that. And then let's go right into slide number 1, part 2, 5.7, solving an inequality with fractions. So, shopping a sign in a clothing store says to take 1/3 off the marked price of a shirt. You have $20 in cash and $5 gift certificate. What are the original prices of the shirts you can afford to buy? So a sign says to take 1/3 off the marked price of a shirt. So what are the original prices of the shirts you can afford to buy? So to solve this, write a verbal model. Let X represent the original prices of the shirts you can afford to buy. So original price minus 1/3 of original price minus gift certificate amount is less than or equal to cash on hand. So you have 20 bucks in cash. To find a shirt you can afford to buy, you have X minus 1/3 X minus 5 less than or equal to 20. So we need to solve for X. So what we're going to do here is we're going to factor out an X out of this expression here. So we have 1 minus 1/3 X minus 5 less than or equal to 20. And then to start solving this, we're going to combine like terms up here. 1 minus 1/3 to be 2/3 X. Minus 5 is less than or equal to 20. That would be simplify that. Once we have that much done, we're going to solve for X now. So we're going to add 5 to both sides of the inequality. And then we have 3/2. We're gonna isolate this X, so we're gonna use the inverse of 2/3, which is 3/2, or rather 3/2. Then multiply this side by 3/2. Multiply each side by a multiplicative inverse of 2/3, which is 3/2. And then once we do that, we have X is less than or equal to $37.50 would be the price of shirt that you can afford with $20. So you can afford a shirt whose original price is $37.50 or less, according to those conditions. Okay, let's try one here. Solve the inequality by first clearing the fractions. So we have 4/5 is greater than or equal to 2/3 minus 2/7x. Students, this is yours down here. So we're going to solve this one up here. 4x. Okay, to do that, to solve this one, we're going to use our LCD here, which is 105. 5, 3, and 7, our LCD would be 105. So we're going to multiply both sides of our inequality here by 105. And then when we do that, we have 105 times 4/5 greater than or equal to 105 times 2/3 minus 105 times 2/7x. And then when we multiply through, this ends up being 84. 105 will go into, or rather 5 will go into 105 21 times. 21 times 4 would be 84. And then 3 will go into 105 35 times. 35 by 2 would be 70. And then 7 will go into 105 15 times. And then 15 times 2 will be 30x. So this is how we've gotten rid of our fractions. We end up with this now. And now we're going to further isolate our x. So we're going to add, we're going to subtract 70 from both sides. And then we get 14 is greater than or equal to negative 30x. We divide through by negative 30 on both sides. And we end up with x. And when we do that, the direction of our sign is going to change because we're dividing through by a negative number. So that changes the direction of our inequality sign. And we have 14 over negative 30 would be negative 7/15 less than or equal to x, or x is greater than or equal to negative 7/15 would be how we would arrive at that. Okay, so moving on now to our next example, solving an inequality by clearing fractions. So we have negative 3 over 4m minus 1 over 8 is less than or equal to negative 1 over 4. So here's our original inequality. How are we going to solve this? So we need a LCD here, which is 8. So we're going to multiply both sides of the inequality by 8. Multiply each side by LCD of fraction. And then once we multiply both sides by 8, we can get rid of these fractions. 4 going 8 twice. 2 times 3 would be 6. Minus these will cancel. You have 8 minus 1. And then this will become 2, and that'll be a negative 2 there. So we're going to use the distributive property multiplication there. And then we end up with negative 6m minus 1. So less than or equal to negative 2. And we need to isolate our m here. So to isolate our m, we're going to add 1 to both sides. It'll be our first step here of isolating our m. And once we add 1 to both sides, what we have is negative 6m less than or equal to negative 1. We have to divide through by negative 6 on both sides. And this will get rid of our coefficient here of m. And then negative 1 divided by negative 6 on this side. And of course our sign changes now because we are dividing through by negative 6. So our m now will be greater than or equal to 1 over 6. Okay, our next guided practice here, solve the equation by first clearing the fractions. So we have 3 over 5, then we have 77 over 20 here in this one. So what would be our LCD on that one there would be the question. First question you ask, what is our LCD on this situation here? So our LCD would be 20. So we need to multiply through on both sides by 20. That'll cancel. And then 20 multiplied by negative 3 over 5z will be a 4 times negative 3 would be negative 12. And then this one here will be a negative 80. So here's our math down here of how we arrive at that. So negative 12z minus 80 equals, and then this will cancel, negative 77. We need to isolate our z here, so we're going to add 80 to both sides, like that. And then once we do that, we end up with negative 12z equals 3. We got to divide through by negative 12. Divide through by negative 12. This is an equation, though. We're not changing the sign here because it's not an inequality. It's just an equation. So negative 12z equals 3. Divide through by negative 12 on both sides. Then we end up with z equals negative 1/4. For this one up here, since this is yours down here, and that is 5.7 Part 2 Pre-Algebra Math. Animated PowerPoint Math Video, AOL.com for questions or course materials. Thank you very much.